So today I'm going to break down the exact system that allowed us to increase our close rate by over 50%, keeping everything else the same. We're using the same scripts, the same methods to book calls, but this post-booking system, which I'm going to show you, allowed us to increase our close rate by 50%, which allowed us to scale our agency even further. It's closing multiple clients a week now, which is fantastic, all thanks to this post-booking system that we've been able to implement for ourselves, and now we're implementing it for our clients. This is key because most people, you have sales calls and you think they go well, and it gets to the very end and they're like, oh, let me think about it, or I need to speak to my partner, or send me a proposal over email. And it's because you haven't quite done enough to get them over the line. Usually the things that are actually stopping people take action on a sales call are smoke screens. They say they want to do one thing, like they need to speak to their partner, or they want you to send them an email proposal to read over. But it's not true. They know deep down that they don't actually want to do this, and they're just trying to get out of it. You've got to recognize when people are making these smoke screen objections, and you'll have ways to get past them. I'm a big believer, I've seen this many times, that prevention is better than cure. So if you can actually prevent someone from having these objections in the first place, it's going to make it way easier to close your sales calls, as opposed to try and overcome every single objection and just get thrown in more. Obviously, if you have a great salesperson, they can do that, but most people struggle to actually close the sale with all of these objections. We found a way that eliminates these objections before someone even jumped on a call, and I'll show you how we can do this. So with our system, we're easily able to book sales calls. We have built the infrastructure, we do the split testing, handle the responses, and appointment settle, book a call. That's all good. And this is where most agencies stop. Once you book the call, you think job's done, let's just jump on the call and close the deal. But that's not the case. You need to frame the call. Framing the call is one of the most important things that will actually allow you to close the deal. Ultimately, this is what we need to optimize for, the closed deal. There's no point optimizing for the very first step of the process, or optimizing just for booking a call, because that's no good. We want to optimize for the end result, which is ultimately the closed deal. So how can we do that the best way possible? We've got to frame the call. There's three things we want to do when we're framing this call. Firstly, you want to frame yourself as an authority figure. You also want to frame the call as a diagnosis, and you want to set expectations quickly. So I'll dive into each of these. The first one you can do, obviously, is frame yourself as an authority figure, and the best way to do that would be to use case studies or social proof. You need to show that you're really the person that's capable of achieving the result that they want. This could be through YouTube videos that you're posting. This could also be through case study documents, but you need to make sure that once someone's booked a call, you nurture them with this content. So that would be one of the follow-ups. Before someone books a call, you want to have at least 3 or 4 touch points with them. One being case studies, another one potentially being articles or publications, another one being free value, like a free offer or free lead magnet that you can send them. You just basically want to maximize your touch points with the prospect before the call. So that's the first thing, is frame yourself as an authority figure. It will really help increase your close rate, and you'll notice this if you track it. The second thing that's arguably the most important is actually to frame the call as a diagnosis. This is slightly when you go into the call, but also before the call. It's not that you're there to sell them. It's nothing like that. You've got to see it as if you're a doctor and they're the patient. They've come to you with an apparent problem. It could be marketing, it could be recruitment, it could be lead generation, but they have a problem, and that's the reason why they've booked the call with you. Now, your job isn't to just sell them on your solution, because like a doctor wouldn't just give someone medicine before they know what's actually wrong with them. And this is exactly how you should see your sales process and your system. You can't just prescribe someone your service without knowing truly what their problem is, how you can help them. So that's how we want to frame the call. Because oftentimes a lot of prospects will join the call, they'll say, I haven't got time for this, what's the price? Or that's what they're thinking in the back of their head, is what's the price? And you've got to slowly chip away at this and eliminate that sort of objection, if you like, or that thing that they're thinking about. The way that we can do that is we don't want to have the price as the main problem. We want to have basically the solution to their pain as the main thing. So we need to basically build that gap of pain. Ask them a lot of qualification questions before you go in with a pitch. So ask what they're currently doing for marketing, what's worked for them before, what hasn't worked, where they want to be, what's stopping them from getting there, how can they get there themselves, what's stopping them from getting there themselves. Ask all of these qualification questions, and it helps you build a gap with your prospects. This gap is what will actually allow you to get the closed deal. Without the gap, it's extremely difficult to close a deal, because the prospect will think that they're in a comfortable enough situation by themselves to not use you. Your aim on a sales call is to build such a gap that they feel like they'll never be able to achieve what they truly want to without the utilization of your service. So frame the call as a diagnosis, and that's really down to asking a lot of qualification questions before the pitch. And you can even get an idea for this and send over questionnaires before the call, so the prospect can fill it in, and it will give you a good idea of how you can diagnose this prospect. And the third thing is obviously set expectations quickly. This sort of goes in with the second point. You basically want to lead this call. This isn't like prospects jumping on and they're asking you all these questions about how much does it cost, how quickly can you get results. That's not what this is about. You need to quickly say, this is what the call is going to look like. I'm going to ask you questions to see if we truly can help you, to see if you're actually a good fit, and slowly go through the questions, right? Maybe give them a short introduction at the start, ask the prospect to give an elevator pitch about their service, but you need to make sure that you are leading the call. It's not a prospect's call, it's your call, and you're taking them through a diagnosis, through a journey, helping them achieve their end outcome. It all comes down to really framing on the call. That's what I've noticed for sure. Now, of course, to help you with that framing on the call, as soon as someone books a call, you basically want to be able to nurture them with video content, a little bit like this. So what we actually do in our Calendly is as soon as someone books a call, we redirect them to a video sales letter page. This could be just a thank you page, basically. But what you want to do is go over your process. So redirect the prospect as soon as they book into your Calendly to a video sales letter that goes over your process. So our VSL isn't this, but it could be this. It could be, thank you so much for taking the time to book the call today. We're really looking forward to speaking to you. But before we jump on that call, it's really, really important that you watch this video. This is going to go over our process and break down everything you need to know. And then you'd go on and explain your process. But obviously frame this VSL is really, really important to watch. I've seen loads of successful creators do this. Recently, a guy called Wyatt, I don't know if people have seen Serge Guattari, his AI infrastructures, and I actually recently booked a call with him, and I thought he had a really, really good post-booking system. I got hit with loads of messages on WhatsApp, loads of texts, loads of video content, and it really warms prospects up before the call. So shout out to him for doing that well. And one of the things was as soon as you book a call, you get redirected to a VSL that they make you watch, about 15 minutes long, 10 to 15 minutes, describing their process. Now, the reason why this is important and why you need your prospects to watch this is really because you're more likely to buy from someone if you feel like you know them, you spend more time. That's really what it boils down to. You don't need to be saying anything profound in your VSLs or sending any profound content over. It's really just a question of getting someone to spend more time with you. I know it's online, but it's more time seeing your content before the call, because this will just warm them up. It's the reason why organic calls or like inbound closes much higher than outbound. It's the same way that it works, basically. You can increase your close rate simply by spending more time, I'm saying in quotations because you're not doing this physically, but you're doing it online, with your prospect. So just send over as much content as you can, case studies, articles, free value, and sequence these follow-ups, because it will really increase your close rate. If you do all of these things and frame your call successfully as you being the authority figure and the doctor diagnosing their problems, then as soon as they basically admit the issue they have, they know that you're the person to solve it. Whereas if you don't do any of this stuff, the gap just isn't there, and they don't trust you quite enough. They'll want time to think about it. We all know that a confused mind doesn't buy. As soon as they have more time to think about it, they won't purchase. So what you need to do is get all of this content in quickly and nurture the prospects before they actually join the call. A lot of this is really around breaking self-limiting beliefs and breaking beliefs of the prospect on the call. So they've probably had loads of other calls with companies like yours. They haven't really been sure whether to make the decision. They don't really feel like it's something they need to do. It's your job to frame this call that you're the authority figure. You're going to be the person that will build the gap to show them that they basically should be where they want to be, but they just can't get there themselves. The reason that they're not there themselves is because they haven't done what you're able to do for them. And that's really the whole point of framing the call the way we do. Just putting video content and implementing some case studies before a call will already make a positive impact to your close rate.